until you learn.
If you have the camera like this, then you're like close to it, and then I can just look at you.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No.
It won't work. If you haven't subscribed yet and you want to keep up with our garden and what's going on, make sure you click the button, the subscribe button, and make sure you like this video. And what's the other thing? Oh, the little notification. That way you'll get notified every time we post a video.
Hey guys, so it's our weekly update, and holy moly, today was a busy day. We cut down a tree and Rebecca is sneezing. That is our youngest daughter. We have 2 daughters and 2 sons, and she wanted to kind of check out what we're doing. So anyway, it's our weekly update.
There's that big bird.
Oh, he's getting bullied. That's a hawk. He must be getting close to a nest or something.
All right guys, so I'm gonna show you around here. I'm gonna show you the happy things first, and then I'll show you some things that are not so happy. I wanna show you that our cilantro, take a look at this, let's see. Okay, there it is. This cilantro is doing really well. Very happy here, and it's getting pretty big. So is the mint. Let's see, right back there. Looks like it is happy. Everything else is happy over here. Over here we have our kale. And the kale is doing really well. Everything's getting nice and big, really hardy leaves. Really happy with that. I have two of my 3 tomato plants are doing very well. They're very happy. However, one of them is not, and I'll show you that in a bit. The beans look happy. Also, look at this squash bed. These squash are doing great. Actually, this is pumpkins over here, I'm sorry. This is squash over here. And I actually don't remember planting this many, so that's interesting. But I will tell you this, we have a volunteer squash, at least 1, sometimes 2, in every single bed and all around here. So I don't think I planted this many. I think many of them are volunteers, and I've pulled up a ton of them around, so that's crazy. The corn behind me here is doing great. There's a lot of little tiny weeds that are just like covering the whole thing. I don't know what they are, and I'm not sure how to get them out. I don't know what the best way is to get them out, because I tried pulling some up by hand over there in that bed, and that took a long time. So if you have tips on that, let me know, like a tool or a good way to get all those little tiny things out.
I could never count all the ways that you change me, baby.
Our watermelon is doing well too. And you can see here we've got all of our onions that look like they're doing great. We got rows of carrots that are happy and coming up. The rainbow carrots that I planted are not quite as happy as the regular carrots, or not quite as big as the regular carrots anyway, but I think they're still gonna make it. They look like they're gonna do well. Our potatoes have made their appearance. All the potato foliage has made its appearance. I'm so sorry. I'm still learning how to do this stick thing. Everything feels a little awkward. So we'll let those fill out a little bit, and then we will put some more dirt on them. Actually, what happens is when these get real big and fluffy, then we'll put another piece of wood up here, fill it with more dirt, and then one more time up here, put one more piece of wood when it gets real big. And then when it's time for harvest, we'll take off the bottom piece and we can harvest the potatoes out of the bottom.
So kind of an update. I have a second video out about yellowing leaves and low nitrogen situation. And there's a comment, and I don't think you can see it. So maybe it was a private comment, or I don't know how that works. We're still new at this, but she said that it can also be from overwatering. And so maybe that's true. And that kind of makes sense, that maybe if you're overwatering, that it's kind of watering out your nutrients. So I don't know if this is right or wrong. You can kind of let me know what you think. But as far as watering and knowing when to water, I just kind of been sticking my finger in the soil like this. And if it's wet, like that is wet, you know, and it kind of balls together, then it's good. Anyway, so that's kind of an update on that. We did end up applying blood meal to all of this. So far, so good.
Every day the sky is a deeper shade of blue. When I'm with
So there's cabbage over on that side, back there, and then I've got cauliflower and broccoli down here. And they look like they're doing fine. However, my bok choy is not okay. Let's see if you can see this. This one bolted straight up, and I picked off the flowers, and then it did it again. And this one looked like it was gonna make it, but then it also bolted. And I think I'm just gonna have to pull these up, enjoy what I can out of it, and then I'll plant something else there. We did read up on bok choy, and it has a tendency to bolt when it's been cold or wet, and then you get like several hot days and it will just bolt straight up. And that's exactly what happened to us. So I learned that I'm gonna, like I said, I'll pull up what I can and eat it, and then I'm gonna use that spot for something else. So maybe I could put my spinach there, huh? Might be a good spot for spinach. We had a couple issues. One, we had yellowing leaves, and so Mark took care of that with blood meal. We put blood meal around, and we're gonna see how that does. But we also had ants. There were ants in the garden eating up some of the leaves, got little holes in all of them. So I made some little homemade traps with some water bottles and like honey water, that kind of thing, and we put them in the beds, and we're gonna see if we caught any ants. So let's go take a look. Right here I have this water bottle that I've made, and I put honey and water, sugar, and borax in here, and I poked holes in the top, and then I set it in the garden. This one does not have as many ants as I thought it would. Can you see that? I don't even see any ants in here actually, a couple slugs. So I'm a little disappointed with that, but let me show you the one that's over by the tomatoes. Okay, so this one right here actually has a lot of ants in it. And it's the same thing that I made over there, put some slits in the top. This one has flies, ants, some other bugs. So I'm really glad that I got those out. I'd love to figure out a way to get rid of them, or a better way to deal with them than this, but this was a cheap option. This is our one tomato plant that's not doing very well. It has some pretty yellow leaves. Everything's pretty limp. It doesn't look very happy. So the other two, I don't know if you can see from here, but they're doing great. They look really happy. This one is just, it's not thriving, and I'm not sure why. So we're gonna see what we can find out about this kind of tomatoes. I'm gonna take you guys over to the shop now and show you what I've been doing in there, because I told you I had a spot in the garden where I planted pepper seeds, and I don't think they made it. I've been in the shop planting pepper seeds so I can start some of that, and sunflowers. And my mom actually gave me a pepper plant, that was given to her, and she's not going to use. Oh, I left an egg in here earlier. So this is a little pepper plant that's Crispy Belle is getting started. And then you can see this back here, this corner back here is peppers. They're these peppers. I also decided to try and start some sunflowers. I thought it would be cool, a cool thing for me to have and give to like friends or try and sell a couple starts. But a friend of mine told me that they actually don't transplant very well. So I'm gonna see how that works out. The good news is I started these 3 days ago and they've already started coming up. Look at that one. They're already just busting out of there. So that's pretty great. I might put these in bigger containers as soon as they get to be, you know, straight up or so. And then we'll see if they make it.
Oh, baby, you're sweeter than strawberry pie. Just like the morning, your smile brings the sunshine. I could never count all the ways that you change.
These are our chicks.
Baby, every day the sky is a deeper shade of blue when I'm with you. I could never count.
So our chicks are getting pretty big. Thank you, Becca. And that's a rooster. We think we got a rooster right there sitting on top of the water. And there might be one more rooster. So we're gonna have to figure out how to separate them or see how they interact with each other. But we're getting ready to transition these guys. They're gonna be big here in just a little bit. They're getting so much bigger. We're gonna transition them over to this coop with these ladies that are much older. These are like 8-year-old chickens. Actually, that golden one, that's a golden nugget layer. She's 8 years old for sure. I think the other ones are more like 6 or 7 years old, but still, that's pretty old in chicken years.
When I hear you and you're crying, it resonates, dear, in a place I didn't know was there. You make me believe in love.
So this last week, we had a lot of rain, or like how many days of rain?
Oh, 3 or 4.
Like a solid 3, I'm gonna say a solid 3 days of heavy rain. So that was a lot of rain. And right before that, we had 2 full days of like 80 degrees, 85 degrees even, full sunshine, which is unusual for us in May. So a lot of rain and a lot of sun. So that was one thing that happened in the garden this week. I tried to do some weeding, but there's all those little things in there that I just don't know what to do with. It takes forever to pull them out by hand. Yeah, I used some parsley for the first time in some of my cooking, and I also used some of that, what is that called? Wild fairy tale basil, which was, oh my word, heavenly. So good. So anyway, that's our garden update for you. Everything seems to be doing well. Well, not everything. We showed you the ones that aren't doing well.
See you and you're smiling.
Got her.
How my heart aches. So
That's your thumbnail. Today was a very busy day. I ended up cutting down a tree, and so just a lot of work, a lot of brush that came off of it, but it was just dropping sap all over our truck. So we took it down. It is a fir tree, and I wanted to show you the pile of wood that came of it. My son, my youngest son actually, he loves splitting wood. Just the action and just physical nature of it. Maybe it's watching this wood just kind of blow apart when you get one that splits really nice. But this is really bright, but that's the wood pile that came off of it. This is all Douglas fir. really pitchy stuff. So after working with it, you know, my hands and everything just gets so pitchy. But yeah, we're excited to have it down.
All right, guys, thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, hit the little notification bell, and we will see you again next week. Actually, we plan on posting on Wednesdays and on Saturdays, so look for us then. Bye.
I could never count all the ways that you change me, baby. Every day the sky